Ben, podcast number 4. Can't believe it.
No, I know. No, who'd have thought we'd get this far?
If I've got it right, it could be number 5.
I'm just trying to work out whether it's 4 or 5. No, I think it is 4. I think it is 4. Yeah.
We're so professional. We're good at this now.
We're just getting, we're so slick, aren't we? Yeah. By the time we get to podcast 5, if we make it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a Christmas one, won't it?
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, I've got some interesting stuff, but we'll save it.
We'll
save it.
Bet
Yeah.
you are. So, guys, thanks for joining us with myself, Graham, and most importantly, Games Master.
Ben Stoker, still.
Talking all things escape rooms, what we're doing here, what's happening across the UK. We'll probably focus on the north of England, but we're willing to see that ripple go a little bit further afield. So it's for gamers, it's for enthusiasts, it's for owners. We focus on Halloween and much sort of wider. We talked about scares.
Yes,
in escape rooms,
yeah.
and what makes a good scary story and a good scary escape room.
Yeah.
With a view to that, taking it one step further, I wanted to talk today about where you see escape rooms going in the next 5 years and the next 10 years, and how people's embrace of technology might inform those kind of experiences and change it. I don't think it's just down to the technology, which I think that does play an important role, and you are seeing a lot more games out there that are focusing a lot more on tech heavy sort of puzzles and sort of tech heavy games. And that's great sometimes, not always. I've played a couple of games that are all about the tech. They've got rid of padlocks, it's the puzzles are slightly different, it is all about the technology, and the game looks fantastic, but for me, sometimes takes away some of the gameplay. It's more about the effect rather than how you get there, if that makes sense. I mean, I love a padlock. I'll be the first to hold my hands up. I love how when a padlock is very definite. You solve something and the padlock opens and there's that moment of yes, I've done it. Whereas some tech games that I've played, you solve something and you hear that something's happened, you know that something's happened, but you find yourself sort of looking around the room like, a cupboard's opened over there, or, and it can sometimes take away from that instant realization. I've done it, brilliant, I'm on to the next thing. Don't get me wrong, that's not always the case. I've played some tech, recently, again, I've played a game and I probably talk this game to death, but it's just because I love the game so much and I can't stop going on about it. So Area 51 and a half at the Escaporium in Halifax, they to me have it's a great mix of the older style with the newer sort of technology. So some of their puzzles rely very much on tech, and you do something and there's special effects and things happening and it's like wow, it's such it sort of blows you away, those moments. But it's also mixed in with they still use padlocks in there, they still have traditional style puzzles mixed in with all the tech that they're using. Can I pause you there to give a shout out to our sponsor, Area 51.
Area 51 and a half at the Escaporium, yes. I can guarantee, I promise they're not sponsoring me. I can't stop talking about the game because I love it. Yeah, exactly. So I think they've just got a fantastic mix of the old and the new. They're embracing technology, but they're not sort of walking away from their roots, if that makes sense. And then, as I say, I have played some games that don't use any padlocks at all, and they're absolutely brilliant. But I also recently played a game that is still, I would say, an old school escape room. It's even to the point that some of the puzzles are pen and paper puzzles, and things, but
the storyline was great. The interaction with the games masters was great. You know, the setup of the room was great. So it's still, and as I say, I still get excited when you solve that puzzle and you remove that lock and you open a cupboard or you open a drawer and you find the next thing to do. You know,
Is it that moment, and a lot of people listening might appreciate this, when you put the key in and turn it and it pops.
And I think
that moment.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, and you do get that sometimes with. I think if you're playing a game and they're using tech and you are solving a puzzle and what happens in front of you, then that's great. You still get that moment. You still get that feel of, I've done this, wow, that's popped open, or this has dropped down, or this effect has happened, and it's happened right in front of me. I can see it's happened as a result of what I've done here. So you still get that wow moment. Sometimes you get effects that happen, and as I say, you know that something's happened because you've heard something, or you've but you don't quite know where it is. It's, it might have happened behind you or something might have dropped down to the side of you. It's not, so you do lose that immediate.
Is that a failing though in technology, or is that a failing in the application?
It could be a failing in the application of the technology. And saying it's a failing is probably not fair. It's probably not fair because it's still a great effect, but it's just, I suppose, that instantaneous moment of, wow, I've done something, and this is the result, So I think the way games or the way experiences are moving forward, it's not necessarily down to the tech. It could be the whole interaction. I've played games. I play games that have live actors in, and that can really add to the atmosphere. Because I suppose that helps you lose yourself in that story. We talk all the time about losing yourself in a story, or if you're interacting with another character, as long as it's done well, that sort of really helps to pull you into that scenario. You feel much more a part. When I go into an escape room, I want to lose myself for 60 minutes in an experience where I don't think about what's going on outside the room. For those 60 minutes, I am in that situation. I am in that zone. And live actors can go a really big way to helping with that. They can also hinder it. If the live actor isn't particularly interested in what they're doing, but again, this goes down to we've talked time and time again about how a games master or somebody running your game can make or can kill a game. Again, I've played fantastic rooms where they've looked incredible, the puzzles have been great, but it's just lost something because the person running the game isn't particularly bothered. They're not particularly paying attention. They're just there to get you in and get you out. Even to the point that when you come out of the room, it's like, all right, thanks a lot. See you later.
No discussion.
No. Whereas I've played some games and the game's been fine. It's a decent escape room, but it's been raised a level because the interaction that you've had, the customer service you've had, the interaction you've had, whether that person's engaged with you, whether they've chatted to you at the end, I'm terrible, when I come out of a room, especially if I know that the person running the game is into escape rooms, or if I'm playing at a company and it happens to be the owners or the designers that have run that game for me. I spend so long just chatting to them afterwards, and we discuss other escape rooms, and we discuss the sort of things me and you discuss on the on this podcast, and that can just completely change that whole experience of you walk away thinking, I've had a fantastic experience there.
It's a controllable variable, isn't it?
Oh, definitely,
As a games master or one of the team running an escape room, that's something in your control, that engagement.
Yeah, definitely.
And doesn't have to end there then, so no, that's what we're looking at here. It doesn't have to end when you walk out the room.
Yes, yes.
It's like when we talk so much the connection between escape rooms and movies. When you come out of the cinema, there's nothing like then going and having a drink, a coffee, a beer afterwards.
And discussing what you've, talking to your teammates about what you've done, about,
And it's the same in the escape rooms.
Yeah, so
with that, looking at where escape rooms have come, where they're going, 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
Thoughts about technology in terms of locks, puzzles, things like that.
Yeah.
One thing that's changed a lot in the last 5 years, and it's changing rapidly, especially price points and that controllable variable, is lighting. So you can control lighting now from your phone.
Yes,
LEDs over. How important is good lighting as part of the experience of an escape?
Again, I think things like that, not just the lighting, lighting, sound, even smell.
Yeah.
Even
smell.
Oh yes, I've played games where they want to immerse you that much that if you walk into a different part of that game, it smells different.
No way.
Oh yeah,
Seriously?
yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that.
Because you're wanting to try and you're wanting to hit all those sensors.
Yeah.
If you sat playing a computer game, you're watching something, you might be listening to it, and but if you're immersed in an escape room, if you can touch things, if you're hearing things, if, like you said, the lights and the effects, or even walking into a room and it's foggy, or it's, the light changes as you move into different parts of it. But smells, sounds, things like that can totally change the way a game feels as you're working your way through it.
And again, what you're doing there, consciously or subconsciously, is connecting to what theme parks and cinemas are doing. Those experiential rides, less about roll. I think they're still building big coasters, but those rides that are, 4 or 5 experiences in one.
Yes,
with motion, with sound, with smell.
But I mean, theme parks do it, and they do it. Again, I think it's partly because of the fact that at a theme park you can be standing in a queue for an hour waiting to get on a ride. So I've been to theme parks, and when we went to Florida, and obviously went to Disney World and things, and the queuing becomes just as much a part of the experience. The Harry Potter stuff at the So the first time we went there, and they just opened the Hagrid's ride, the motorbike ride, and we were one of the first people on it, and we queued for nearly 3 hours to get onto that. But queuing was such an experience because there were things going on. You weren't just standing in a line going, by a fence. The whole everything. It's so I'm not saying escape rooms should have you queuing for 3 hours, and it should. But interestingly, and I know I'd mentioned it to you because we were talking about not just escape rooms but experiences. And funnily enough, with you saying at the beginning of the game, it's going to be focused more on sort of the north of England, which we tend to focus on because that's where we're based. This isn't. I'm gonna give a massive shout out to somewhere down south. We talked about Phantom Peak. I'd mentioned it to you previously, and this is one of those areas that where. I don't think it would do it justice to describe it as an escape room. It's not an escape room, but it definitely has escape room.
Tell the listeners how describe to.
So I described Phantom Peak to you as an experience. It's like. Well, the way I described it to you was like Westworld. I don't know if people have ever seen the movie Westworld. The series, but I still go back to the old. I'm talking the Yul Brynner. When my dad was a massive Yul Brynner fan, and
what was his character?
Oh no, I don't know.
He was a cowboy.
He was a. Oh yeah, no. I thought you meant what was his name then. I was going to say. Oh right. But so. Yeah, the way I described it to you was a bit Westworld. Without the robots going mad and killing people, so live actors rather than robots, and but it's a town.
Yeah.
You're actually immersed in a fully working town. There are restaurants, there are bars, there are places to explore, there are lakes, there are boats.
Interact with everything?
Yeah, so all the actors. And you don't just go in with, like in escape room, you go in with your team.
Yeah.
So you go along with a group of your friends, or you go along with family or people you know. But there are all the other teams for that day, all there as well, all wandering around the same environment, but going on completely different journeys. So it's so
Don't give me any spoilers.
no, so by you interacting with a particular actor can then set you off on a trail. So you're doing something that is completely different to every other person in there at that time.
It goes back to podcast 1 or podcast 2. Choose your own adventure live, right?
And this is, you can see how excited I'm getting about it, because it's because it is just, it's an adventure. You can there's an app on your phone, so you can interact on your phone as well. They even have a mayor. The town has a mayor that does that talks to people, that does a speech. It's just so. And the reason as I say, it's not fair to class it as an escape room, but there are definitely escape room elements, because you are trying to solve things. You get mysteries, you get tasks that you can complete. You get journeys that you go on, and it's not just an hour. You're there for a full half a day. You're exploring this whole time.
Now you're tapping into. We talked about north and south. You're tapping into the northern area now. We're getting good value for money.
Well, you're getting brilliant value from it, but also if you go for one visit, there is no way you are going to do everything that you can possibly do in one visit.
Like a theme park.
So you're going to go back. You're going to go back 4 or 5 times. It's one of those things that you can. I'm down in London. I've got a group of friends with me. What are we going to do? We'll go do this. I'm down in London the following month, and I've got a different group of friends. What am I going to do? Well, we'll do this. But you're still enjoying it, because you're still doing things differently than what you did last time.
My sister who moved out 10 years ago was wondering why you haven't visited.
Why you've not visited? Yeah, because I'm too busy wandering around Phantom Peak. Yeah.
Use their drive for parking.
Well, yes, yeah, but they'll probably charge you about 60 quid an hour. Yeah. So that's one way that things are changing. As I say, not escape room necessarily, but definitely. And I could be wrong. I'm pretty certain Nick Moran, who I think he was one of the main designers and possibly still is. I think he's still involved heavily with Phantom Peak. His background was escape rooms. He started out with escape rooms.
We should try and get him on.
Oh, now what a character! If we got him on, you'd love him. He's a real character. Met him a few times, spoken to him a few times, but his ideas are just he's taken a concept of escape rooms and slowly over the years has been involved with so many other things. He was involved with the the Sherlock Holmes, the TV series Sherlock, when they did the official game. He had involvement in that and things.
We're going to talk about the future, but we talked about will a story from an escape room ever become a
yes.
But we touched upon those licenses.
The fact that license, exactly, and you've got things like Harry Potter games and the Saw experience, and I think there's even Stranger Things and stuff. There's all sorts, but also around the world as well. Not just in this country. Around the world. But
Florida's had some as well.
Yes.
So in terms of where we might see escape rooms go in 10 years' time, do you feel that escape rooms are like books? They'll always have pages, a start, middle and an end, and a cover to wrap them all up? Or do you think they'll completely metamorphosize into something else?
Again, I'm already seeing a lot of changes in that. So you're seeing a lot more games come out now that are what I call collecting games. Back in the day, most people thought of an escape room as you go in, the door locks behind you, you've got 60 minutes, you try get out, but you try get out as quickly as possible. Some teams might get out in 35 minutes, some teams might take the full 60 minutes, some teams might hit 60 minutes and not be out, and that was you. Well, no, well, blame it on your teammates, blame it on your teammates. But yeah, so that was really the initial concept of an escape room. And over time, you've seen escape rooms that, I mean, one of my games, the aim isn't to get out. Funnily enough, the first game I designed, The Antidote, and I still get teams coming in now, even, 4 or 5 years later, even though that game's changed slightly. And when you say to them, the aim of this game isn't to get out of the room, and they sort of look at you and like, but it's an escape room. And an escape room, it has very different, I think escape room is different definitions. It doesn't necessarily mean you're escaping from the room. It's so it's a bit of a strange one. But there are a lot of games out there where you're not trying to get out. But recently, or over the last couple of years, certainly, I've seen a lot more games where the aim of the game isn't to get out. The aim of the game is to collect something, whether that be points, whether it be money, whether it be various sort of items, or but every team's guaranteed 60 minutes or more or less guaranteed 60 minutes, unless you are one of those absolute world-class teams who, even in the 60, you go into a collecting game, chances are an average team, or even a team of experienced players, are not going to collect every single thing in there, and that's not necessarily what it's about. You might have a leaderboard, you might have a points tally. It's about collecting as much as you can. So the aim is to be on the top of the leaderboard, or to beat your a team who you happen to know. So it's very rare that somebody would get absolutely everything. So most teams are guaranteed a 60-minute game. So you are getting that value for money, which we talked about. If you pay for 60 minutes, you get 60 minutes. But yeah, the aim of the game isn't to escape from it. It's about actually doing the best you can in those 60 minutes. I think that is where a lot of games are going to sort of head towards, really.
It opens up so many more possibilities and freshens our industry up.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no real limit to it. Just little glass.
I don't think so. And I think and there'll be more things, and there'll be more things that we talk about. Yeah. Even now, I'm already thinking, I should have mentioned this, I should have mentioned that. So we'll save that for another podcast. But there are a couple of games
we're going to do a bit of a deeper dive into potential technology that's emerging now that could be used in real life.
We'll save that for another one.
One for you. Ben, thank you so much for
your time. Thank you, Graham.
Thanks for listening, guys. Pod-ject Breakout podcast. Do give us a listen, subscribe, and all those sort of magical things that keeps it going. You can get it from your Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and anywhere else. And we'll also bang it up on YouTube. Thanks again for your time, Ben.
No, thank you.
And keep an eye out on our website, podjectbreakout.co.uk, our YouTube channel, all our new films on there, and we'll see you again next time. See you in a month.
Yeah, see you in a month. Thank you.